had a friend ask me about Arena. And recently in Magic, there's been some discussion about, the best way to play, what formats are being supported competitively, and stories are coming out about how viewer counts were pumped up for Arena, but not so for paper Magic coverage. Maybe it didn't need it. Stuff like that. Why I play Magic Online and paper, what they mean to me, why I got into Magic in the first place, what's good for Hasbro a little bit because they're trying to make money, and so forth. Which is a good thing. I mean, that's what you're trying to do as a company. But we've gone into this before. We have discussed Arena. What do we want to start with? Arena or Magic Online? Why not both? Okay. So I've looked into a bit about what these programs need. And this is what I've come up with. So first of all, I play Magic Online. I have played paper, that's what I started with, and I have played Arena. I gave it a chance. Generally, I don't like new things, so I did try to give it a chance, but I was more comfortable with Magic Online. But there's a number of reasons why that worked better for me. I play limited mostly, so your needs aren't necessarily being met as a competitive drafter on Arena. Even players who play a lot of Arena for a draft will often also play Magic Online for draft to get, to make sure they're playing at the highest level against human drafters. Pros included. So we can talk about, Arena's neat. I see it as a copycat of successful digital card games like Hearthstone. Hearthstone was kind of the first, right? Maybe it wasn't the first ever digital card game that was meant to be played exclusively as a video game. But it was the successful one, right? It's still the most successful one. Unless Arena's having a big event that's highly advertised. The 10-minute inactivity is back? I thought that's been back. Oh, huh. Yeah, hence, okay, I see what you're getting at. Well, good job. One more reason. What am I doing here? One more reason MTGO's better, right? Awesome. What's the biggest thing? I think my biggest pet peeve is the yes-no functionality. That would just make my life so much better. The trade marketplace is a mess. Yeah, I used to try to. Well, there is no trade option on Arena, right? But I used to try to buy and sell as a human, make my own advertisements. Now I just go through the bots because I'm selling at such volume, and time is important. But those third-party bots are like good enough, I think, that I'm happy with it. You can look up the price of cards. You can sell a bunch of cards at once. I ignore the small things. It is a mess. It is a mess, but for me, it's good enough, I guess. It does what I need it to do. It's faster than live trading. It's faster than shipping cards off and buying them online. So I'm not complaining too much. A complete revamp might actually make some of it worse or harder to do, or take something off the top or something. So, you know, the cure might be worse than the disease. Anyway, so yeah, MTGO. One issue here is money. Arena is better if you don't want to spend any money, because you don't have to spend any money on it. In fact, I have not, and I still have drafted a bunch, and you get gold and gems or whatever. And that's all good and fun. But I'm infinite on Magic Online, or at least I have been for the last couple of years, maybe. I don't know if that'll last forever, but pretty good. And yeah, so MTGO, the money's not a downside. In fact, if it's an upside for me, if I'm infinite, I might even be getting ahead, and I can, if I open an Oko, that's way more fun for me to do on Magic Online than it is on Arena, right? Because, well, you might be trying to collect 4 Okos on Magic Online or Arena, but your wild cards can be put towards anything, as I understand it. If I'm looking for something more unique, yeah, it would be nice if you could search cards like Gatherer on MTGO, and then you could search through the individual versions and see what was being sold there. I haven't had to do that on GoatBot. I don't know. They're not sponsoring me. I don't have any. I'm self-sponsored, okay? Or I'm sponsored by you guys, my favorite people. So yeah. Anyway, GoatBots are what I use, and I find they're pretty good. I can even compare prices of cards, or see the price of cards in a draft easily for like the Masters sets or whatever. That was helpful to me. Bloop. All right, since I have this folder open, we'll be looking at random art of mine as well. Look at this. Look at how beautiful my art is. Anyway, okay, good. Not being able to remove special aesthetics. So once you buy an aesthetic, it just like automatically applies it. That's too bad. I'm a little sad. It doesn't matter too much, but I'm a little sad that MTGO doesn't have the showcase arts, but that formatting's kind of a nightmare, I guess. And card backs. I don't care about all that. To me, paper Magic is why I started playing Magic. It is a cerebral game that has all these fantasy elements that were just a ton of fun. Shivan Dragon, you got Zuran Orb, you got Dark Ritual, Bloodlust, Didgeridoo. You got all this crazy stuff. And it's all like brilliant and casual and amazing. And then you had these like gods of magic who were like, we don't need creatures. We're going to do counter spells and stasis and infinite combos. And you're like, yeah, those are real wizards. And now it's like, how many Okos can you cast in a game? Anyway, I digress a bit, but but like, because it's more mainstream now, they have to follow players have to follow the rules. Oh well, it's not the Wild West of Magic anymore. I'm all for that. I cannot tolerate cheaters. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people breaking the game by doing things that the developers didn't intend. But that was kind of it, right? Like, now it's just how much power and toughness can we fit on a 4-drop? It's 8. I think an 8/8 is appropriate. 8/8, and it won't have trample. Okay, it'll have haste but not trample. How about that? Yeah, chess clock. The MTGO is a lot smoother to me. Partly that's because I'm more comfortable with it, but partly it's because Arena has all of these like stops for animations and checking to see if a mana is tapped and like sparkles flying around. And some of that's pretty cool, but I never like that kind of stuff detracting from the gameplay. And on MTGO, it might not be as clear what's going on, so it's not as user-friendly. Like all of a sudden it's your turn again, and it just like zipped through their turn. It's smooth and nice and fast, but it's not as nice to look at, perhaps. MTGO wins because it displays the important parts of the board state more easily, like how many cards you have left in your deck and how many cards are in your graveyard. And you can actually see your graveyard at all times if you want to, because you can resize that window. So some of this is obvious. Making it easier to tap mana, for whatever reason, the hotkey I can use to tap mana on Magic Online is very intuitive for me, and I like it. That might just be how comfortable I am with it. But yeah, hotkeys in general, MTGO has them. They don't always work, which is a big thing that needs to be fixed. But when they do, it's really nice. The hotkey that passes priority is like, I think it's spacebar for me. And I'd love to just do that to go through a turn, because last time I checked, the pass turn didn't work the same way as F6 worked in Magic Online. It just didn't. It's probably fixed now, but small complaint. But I would just spacebar through the turn, and all of a sudden all of your creatures are dead, and you're like, why? They're like, oh, we decided to attack. We thought it's what you wanted. And you're like, no, I didn't want you to attack. But they did it. And then and then I like manually click them all so they don't attack, and then I press spacebar again and they're all attacking again. It's awful. Oh god. Yeah. One bad experience and I never played Arena again. That's not true. But I also, I don't know, daily quests or whatever, it's kind of cool, but especially if you're just starting out Magic, those kind of things are fun things, achievements while you're learning the game. But I've played so many thousands of tournaments at this point that I don't need, here, to get your gold, to do your next draft, attack with 20 creatures. It's like, yeah, I mean, I guess the idea is that's stuff that just naturally happens, but while you're playing your drafts or whatever, and that's fine. Yeah, so this isn't what these are for. It's just some ideas for fixing them. Why do you think the Wizards team is so inconsistent that MTGA will not replace MTGO eventually? Insistent. Very nerds. At this point, I hope MTGO does not get replaced, because that will, like, they're not compatible. It would be nice to have one client that had all the functionality of both, but that's not going to happen in the way I would want it to. I wouldn't want to lose any of the advantages of Magic Online, such as the cards looking like Magic cards and not Hearthstone cards. To me, Magic Online is a simulator for the paper Magic. It's a simulator for that Wild West Magic where the gods of Magic were breaking things, and it shows you the cards. You can build a deck, you can buy packs. The economy is similar. All that stuff. Arena is just a different thing. It is aesthetic. It's cool. It's the hot new thing. It was pushed by Magic. All of the MPL and a bunch of other streamers were paid to play Arena over Magic Online. And that suited most people well because it drew a lot of viewers into Magic and a lot of players into Magic. A little bit I worry about it trying to be something it's not, because I don't think it's going to replace Hearthstone as the big online card game. Kind of, Hearthstone got there first, and Magic Online doesn't do anything much better than it. Magic's a better game, I think, but it's also a different kind of game. Similar, I played a lot of Dota 2, and that was a more cerebral game than League of Legends, but League of Legends got there first, and Dota 2 never surpassed it. I guess it had bigger tournaments in the international, tens of $1 million tournaments, but yeah. But yeah, as successful as Dota 2 was, it never replaced League. It never killed it or quashed it. If Magic keeps its place as the best card game, paper card game, that's kind of great. Another thought on paper versus internet, or a computer. They print a lot of Magic cards. I have a whole box of Magic cards out in the other room, just commons and uncommons. Most people throw them out. I don't think you can recycle them easily because of how much ink or the type of cardboard, or I've never seen that. So it's kind of a shame, I'm a tree hugger, so how many trees have I killed just by playing Magic? So that's another advantage of Magic Online. Certainly I've done a lot more drafts on Magic Online because in the time it takes to drive out to Friday Night Magic, you can probably, use that evening drafting 3 or 4 times on Magic Online. So even though live Magic is preferable in a lot of ways, MTGO will stop people from cheating. You can do more and all that good stuff. You can play against players from everywhere. So if your local game store just has like 8 of the same people and you're way better than them or way worse or whatever, those are the people you have to play against. Whereas online, you can play against Reed Duke and LSV and whoever else is out there. Magic cards are not recyclable. True. I mean, define recyclable. Like if you invent a program to recycle them, then they're recyclable. But yeah, they're not recyclable at your local recycling thing. Too difficult to program the unique interactions from Magic's history into Arena. Yeah, programming these things is just a mess. People are like, hey, it should be easy. Why is MTGO so bad? It's like, it's amazing that it works at all. They probably don't have the best way because it's not like, Bell Labs working on this to save humanity. It's sort of just like a bunch of underpaid programmers, and despite their skill and intentions, it's probably just not perfect. I think Wizards team is insistent. Got used to Arena. Yeah, I could see getting into Arena. It won't have cube, but again, like, I'm trying to play against other people. And I think even if you could play against other people you do play against other people. Even if you could draft against other people on Arena, I'd still prefer Magic Online. I'm pretty sure. Consistent connection to an LGS. MTGO is hard to get. Yeah, MTGO is hard to get started for sure. This is where I tell a lot of people that I meet in person or wherever, like, don't play Magic Online. Play Arena. It's free. You can do it. It's fun. You can still learn how things work, all that good stuff. If you want to become the best at Limited, you have to play on Magic Online for the repetition, for the pool of players, that kind of stuff. Magic Online taught me everything I know about Magic, just because it enforces the rules, so you learn them that way. I'm like a level 3 judge of the Magic rules just because I've played so much. And it doesn't always get things right, but then you can delve into it and see. Probably not a level 3 judge. I don't know. I'm not an expert of state-based effects or layers completely. There's still some like interactions of doubling and whatever that I'm not positive how they work. But I'm pretty good, okay? I know a lot. Daily events used to be really good for new players. They tried some stuff for new players on here. I think to get an account, it used to be $5. Now it's 10 or 15. So, I mean, that's not much, and you get like some weird stuff. And you can play casually on online. It's a lot easier to play casually on Arena. It is a lot easier to play casually on Arena. I said it twice, because it's twice as important. When I say hey, you say Bill. Hey, Bill. I just said everything that you said, so I wouldn't mess up. Hey, MT. MTGO just for EDH. Yeah, that's hilarious. I mean, you can play EDH on MTGO. I don't know why you would, but you can. I played once. I played so long ago, it was not even the current version. It was the last version of it. I don't even know what the versions... Is this version 4? If so, that was version 3. Standard is boring. I am a limited specialist. I just about only play limited. I know the game well enough that I can practice and be good at modern. I've proven that sort of. Or standard, you know, I've won my game day, and I went 5-0 and 5-1 at a PTQ, like with Modern Burn after. So I mean, I know it well enough, but I also know enough to know that like to get into Constructed, I would need to practice a lot with any given deck. Especially formats where like your knowledge of the field and the metagame is important. Standard I could get to in any given season, I'm sure, especially since most of the work is done for you these days by the pros who are feeling out the best decks. What devilry is Twitch implemented with these channel points? I don't know. Don't worry about those. In fact, if I ever see highlighted text in my chat, that's a 10-minute suspension. Can you alter my emotes? I hope not. Look, don't touch my emotes. That's a 5-minute ban. See? Look at how look at how I can use my emotes to make ambiguous statements. Okay, any questions? So paper's the best, MTGO is the most like paper, and Arena is not worth playing. Got it? Good. And they all need to be fixed. Especially Magic Online, because it's the one I like the most. God, it is stressful. Yeah, Big Fish. It is stressful playing paper when time is a consideration, so when there's fetch lands or it's control mirrors or whatever. Whereas on Magic Online, you only have yourself to blame when you lose to time because of that chess clock. Oh yeah. The chess clock has downsides, but they are well worth it. Chadaman was citing the 10-minute timeout. If you want to screw your opponent over, you can say, well, I'm just going to disconnect for 10 minutes. You're like, curse you for your disconnection and my victory. 10 minutes? Come on. Have you ever been to a Grand Prix? If you have to sit there for 10 minutes and your opponent doesn't show up, you're the happiest clam in the whole ocean. You're like, yes, I won a frickin' match. 10 minutes. It is annoying, especially when you're streaming. Yeah, or recording or whatever, because they could show up at any moment and you gotta be there. So, it's not perfect, but... Alright, now that we've got that out of there, I wanted this to be full. Alright, chat, what do I have? I don't even have 8 viewers. All of you get in here and join my vintage cube draft. Needs a way shorter turn clock? 5 minute, you like the 5 minute consent? Yeah, I mean it favored some people. The only problem was if your program crashed, then you would not have, or if your computer crashed, you would not have time to log back in. I could see for most events having 5 minute, but and even then, like, who cares about the other person? They could just, like, when it was 5 minutes, someone still used their whole clock on me by coming back every 5 minutes. It's not, it doesn't really protect you from bad actors as much, right? But yeah, sometimes you would win just because someone's fuse ran out and they didn't mean it to. Arena, I found it stressful to have the fuse go down on me. It was something I wasn't used to. On Magic Online, there's no slow play, because if you could take all the time you needed for your important turn of the match. Okay, I guess that's not going. Let's join a Vintage Cube League. When it dies, draw 2 cards. It literally can't die. So I'm not going to worry about that. Hey, King Art. Look at this. People doubted Channel in this deck. But what do we get? We get Channel. Yeah. They have a counter spell. Oh no. Looks like they have a counter spell. Oh no. Don't counter it, please. Don't counter it, please. It resolved! We did it! Now don't you bounce it back to my hand. Be reasonable. No! Toxic Deluge. The opposite of Channel. No.